Hi friends, this is Gail O'Neill, and I teach stamping. I hope you enjoy. So, a while ago I purchased these wreath builder, and these are from Gina K. And I will post, where they can be purchased. You can just even Google it. I know there's demonstrators that are making them themselves with our square framelits. God, I can't speak tonight. So that gives you an option also. But they come in, you can use a 3 3/4 or a 4. And what you can do with that is make a wreath. And this is one of the wreaths that I did make. But then I was watching some videos, and these are 2 cards. She was doing Kaleidescope. Jennifer McGuire is who I was watching. I love watching her videos and seeing what I can do. She uses, other companies' stamps, but what I can do with Stampin' Up! Stamps with, some of the things that she does. So this card here, I took Eastern Beauty, and I used this circle. What else did I use from here? This little piece, and of course they're bigger. That shows it smaller. This piece and this piece, and the thank you from there. Oh, which is the one that I thought I'm missing? So it must be somewhere lost on my desk. All right, that's a good thought. So this one is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card. This is the one I'm doing tonight. So this is with doing words, and she called this Kaleidescope. So it's kind of fun, and it definitely addicting, including, doing the wreaths, because you just have to look through your stamps and find, different stamps that will work. She also, which I didn't quite finish because I messed this one up, she showed a technique on how to use a larger piece. But when I got back around, I don't know, I stamped it again and it had shifted. So I messed this up. But you can see if I put, like a circle, mount that there with something on it, and, it could be a larger card. But here, this one I did with a 4 by 4 and then cut it down. So tonight I'm going to do it with the 3 3/4 and pray that it works out. So let me get it. I'm also using, for this card, stitched labels. I use this circle piece. And then with delicate lace, which I love these. I love adding them to things. I use this one for this particular card. So it's fun. Fun. I think I say that a lot because stamping is fun. Okay, so I kind of set this up, but I'm going to have to redo it because then I decided to pull all of that out. Oh, and let me show you. Let me show you. Now, oh, that was not good. If that ever happens and it doesn't break right away, just kind of twist them apart. But do keep them apart. And it just went to my stand. Let me just get this. So you could take your large sheets and cut them down, but Stampin' Up! Is coming out with these. So this will be available, I think starts tomorrow. We were able to pre-order it. Not exactly sure, but I will post it, and I think it is tomorrow that customers can purchase this. So that's like really a good thing. No more having to cut them down. So you lay the template in and then get it down, put your magnet on it, and then take your 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 piece, and I'm going to make sure this is right and it still looks right. Okay. And I am only using one. I'm just going to change it. But you can, you know, when I'm working on my dining room table, you know, I'll put my second piece. And I guess I could do it here if, yeah, I could. Because it could lay against my computer. But I'm going to be changing it. So, started out and I used, what is this? Spruce. Shaded spruce. And you do get a rhythm as you get going. So I stamp it, give it a turn. Stamp it again. And you just keep turning that. And I'm a little bit closer on this one. Okay, so that's the Christmas part. So just give it a quick clean off and flip it over here. And then line up the Merry . And I think the Very is going to go off. Okay. And then we're going to switch to the real red. And I always get nervous when that happens. And if you do press too far on that, you could smear it. So far, so good. Maybe the ink won't. I should have dug out my small little squares of the ink. So you just continue going around. And it just becomes a background. And even if part of it's covered up, you know that it's going to say at the very end, very merry, very merry. And that's the last merry. So then we'll switch to the very. Come on. Likes to stick to my nail polish. And for this one, I used Granny Apple Green. And let me just cover this red up. Yeah, that looks like I shifted something. It doesn't look even, so I'm going to do that again. Imagine getting to that last word and messing it up. So some of them are going to go off, and that's okay. just like any background paper, you know how the words will bleed off the page. Okay, so that part is done. And maybe if this goes fast, maybe we'll experiment with something, because that's always fun. Okay, so then I took this piece. Now, this particular word, have a, was 1, and you know how sometimes I cut it, because you can always put it back together. The photopolymer sticks right back to itself. So rather than having to stamp it twice, we get it once. But see how this will stick right back to itself, so that if you want to stamp it straight, again, you can. So then, using the circle framelits, I cut out that one. And that is going to go underneath. And you're only going to see the green through those spaces there. Oh, let me cut these. Nice. Okay, so we're going to place that right there in the middle. So this was 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah. And then I cut this out of the shaded spruce. So I'm going to take and put that to the bottom and just kind of center it. And we're going to use the glue. And just a couple spots. I'm probably putting where it's going to get cut off. Yeah, right there is going to get cut off. I'm getting carried away. Okay, so that's about even. And then just going to trim this off. I think I just shifted it. It's gonna be good enough. Okay, and then this can go right on the card. And then this one. And then I added a little bit of bling. Some red rhinestones. I think I did get like off. And that's the card. So you see, it doesn't even matter that part of it gets hidden because you really do know what it says. But the first one did come out. So on something like this with words, it might be better to go do it and then trim it, because then you can trim from one side or another. So my next one will be like that. But let me see, how much time did we use? 18 minutes. Let's try something. Let's try something. So I'm going to get rid of that. I did cut a couple extra. And let's do some circles. See how they come out. So kind of guesstimate your center. When you're doing something like circles, it's okay to go over it, you know, over each other. It's going to look like a kaleidoscope. I'm trying to think what colors. Let's use crushed curry and some old olive. And then we'll think of something else to throw in there. So I'm going to do the circles with crushed curry. Then I'll be forced to make a card out of this. If it works. I think I'm going to go every other one, because it's a bigger. So you're not limited. You know, you have to play. Okay, so we've got that one. And then let's do that one. And we'll do this one in the old olive. And it's looking like a kaleidoscope. Spirograph, that's the other. Remember playing with that? Alright, I'm not sure what next color to do. Maybe Cajun Craze. Let's see, what are we going to grab? Wish there was another smaller circle in this set, but we're going to make do with this. And let's grab Cajun Craze. Pumpkin pie would have worked too. Oh, you don't want to get it on your fingers because then you'll be getting it. Now it's on my pants. You'll be getting it on your card. See, now with something like this, you could even throw in something in the center and do two at once. But that's easier if you're doing, you want the same color. There's even these little dots. Let's try that. And we'll do that in the same color. Experimenting. It's got to go over a little bit. Might have to put it in after if I decide to do it. And it's sticking to my nail, so I'm going to wait. We're just going to keep going with this. But you see how you get that, I want to call it spirograph. I always want to turn it one extra. Or not turn it at all. So definitely different. Definitely different. And I think I'll put this one in and I'll do it with the pumpkin. These things love nail polish. Gotta say. Stay off me. You could tell I haven't used this little stamp yet because it's really sticky. Alright, let's try the pumpkin pie. So we've used all Regals. So I'll have to make a fall card out of this. And I will do it and then post it to the page. I promise. So you see how you get all these different patterns? Instead of doing a wreath, you're doing, whether you're doing background, and like I did in that other one, it was, where'd it go? Like you could do it in a very light color and just have a very subtle background. And if you're doing it with one color and you can plan it out, then you can put a couple different stamps at a time. So that's, let me move all this. That's what I have for today. And I will make a card out of that one. I might add more to it, not sure. But I will post it, I promise. And thank you for joining me. And remember, anybody who watches the video, and if you don't have a demonstrator and you're looking for a demonstrator, just message me, and I'll be back on Wednesday. See you then. Good night. Thanks for joining me.